Hacked made his way to the briefing room. It had been a week since their harrowing race through Nexus Station, a week of uneasy rest and hurried repairs to the broken promise. But the knot in Hack's stomach told him that whatever lay ahead might make their previous races look like a leisurely cruise. As he entered the room, the tense atmosphere hit him like a physical force. Crews from other ships huddled in corners, their voices low and urgent. Hack spotted Jeb and Killian near the front, their faces grim. "What's going on?" Hack whispered as he took his place beside them. Killian's scowl deepened. "Seems the bigwigs weren't too happy with our creative navigation last time. They're changing the rules." Before Hack could ask for clarification, a holographic display flickered to life at the center of the room. The stern face of the chief race official filled the air, his expression as unforgiving as the vacuum of space. "Attention, all race participants," the official's voice boomed. "In light of recent events, we are implementing new regulations effective immediately." Hack felt his fur stand on end as the official continued. "Any crew found taking shortcuts or deviating from the designated race route will face severe consequences. Specifically, one randomly selected crew member will be executed as punishment." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Hack's eyes widened in horror, his gaze darting to Jeb, seeking some reassurance that this was a sick joke. But Jeb's face was a mask of grim determination. He met Hack's gaze and gave a small, solemn nod. This was real. The official wasn't finished. To ensure compliance, all ships will now be required to broadcast a continuous live feed throughout the race. These feeds will be monitored in real time and broadcast to viewers across the galaxy. Hack felt his blood run cold. Not only were their lives on the line, but their every move would be scrutinized by millions of unseen eyes. The weight of it all threatened to crush him. As the briefing continued, detailing the specifics of the upcoming race across a desert planet, Hack found it hard to focus. His mind kept returning to the image of a crew member being sacrificed for a moment's advantage. "A maximum ceiling of 2,000 feet," the official was saying. "The course will take you through an industrial district, a mine tunnel, the Great Dune Sea, and finally a canyon run to the finish line. Any questions?" The room remained silent, the gravity of the situation suffocating any desire for clarification. As they filed out of the briefing room, Hack overheard snippets of conversation from other crews. "Might be worth the risk if it means freedom. Wonder who they'd choose to execute. Better to die quick than waste away in these races." Jeb's hand on his shoulder startled Hack from his eavesdropping. "Crew meeting. Now," the captain said quietly. Back on the broken promise, the atmosphere was tense as Jeb addressed the gathered crew. "I know you're all rattled by the new rules," he began, his voice steady. "But I want to make one thing crystal clear. We are not taking any shortcuts. Not now, not ever." Killian nodded firmly. "Damn straight, Cap." "But Captain," one of the alien crew members spoke up, "what if it's our only chance to win, to gain our freedom?" Jeb's eyes hardened. "Our freedom isn't worth the life of one of our own. We started this journey together, and by whatever cosmic forces are out there, we're going to finish it together. Is that understood?" A chorus of affirmatives echoed through the ship, some more enthusiastic than others. Hack felt a swell of pride and gratitude towards Jeb. In a universe that seemed determined to strip away their humanity, their captain stood as a beacon of integrity. As the crew dispersed to make final preparations, Hack turned his attention to the navigation console. The desert planet loomed large on the display, its vast, shifting dunes and treacherous canyons presenting a daunting challenge. "How are we looking?" Jeb asked, coming to stand beside him. Hack swallowed hard. It's not going to be easy, Captain. The terrain is highly unpredictable, especially in the Dune Sea, and with the altitude restriction." Jeb nodded, understanding the unspoken concerns. "We'll make it work. I have faith in your skills, Hack. Just keep us on the straight and narrow, no matter what." As Jeb moved away to check on other preparations, Hack's eyes were drawn to a small, blinking light on his console. the live feed indicator, a constant reminder that every decision, every maneuver, every moment of the upcoming race would be broadcast to the galaxy. With a deep breath, Hack turned back to his calculations. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever temptations they might face, he knew one thing for certain: the crew of the Broken Promise would face them with integrity, come what may. As the countdown to launch began, Hack sent up a silent prayer to the cosmos. They had survived 3 impossible races. Now, they just had to survive their own principles. The countdown echoed through the Broken Promise, each number bringing a fresh wave of tension. Hack's paws hovered over his console, eyes fixed on the harsh landscape of the desert planet looming before them. 3, 2, 1. Race start. The ship lurched forward, joining the pack of desperate racers as they streaked across the planet's surface. Immediately, Hack felt the oppressive weight of the 2,000-foot ceiling pressing down on them, limiting their maneuverability. First checkpoint is in the industrial district, Hack called out, his voice tight. We've got a maze of refineries and mining equipment to navigate. Jeb's hands were steady on the controls as he guided the ship between towering structures of metal and glass. Keep your eyes peeled, everyone. I don't want any surprises. The industrial district was a forest of gleaming spires and massive machinery, with barely enough space between them for ships to pass. Hack's whiskers twitched frantically as he fed Jeb a constant stream of data, calculating and recalculating their optimal path. Sharp turn coming up, Captain Hack squeaked. We've got to thread between those 2 refineries. The Broken Promise banked hard, metal screaming as they scraped through the narrow gap. Hack winced at the sound, all too aware of the millions of viewers who might be watching their every move. We've got company, Killian growled from his station. 2 ships on our tail, trying to draft off us. Jeb's jaw tightened. Let them. We're not here to play games. Hack, what's our next move? Before Hack could respond, a massive processing plant loomed before them, its network of pipes and conduits forming a deadly maze. There's a path through, Hack said, his paws flying over the console. But it's tight, really tight. How tight? Jeb asked, his voice tense. Hack swallowed hard. We'll lose paint. Maybe more. Jeb nodded grimly. It's our best shot. Guide us through, Hack. What followed was a harrowing dance of precision piloting. Jeb's hands moved with inhuman speed and accuracy, following Hack's rapid-fire directions. The ship twisted and turned, metal groaning as they squeezed through gaps that seemed to defy physics. Behind them, one of the pursuing ships misjudged a turn, clipping a pipe and spiraling out of control. The resulting explosion lit up their view screen, a stark reminder of the razor's edge they walked. As they emerged from the processing plant, Hack's console lit up with a new alert. Captain, I'm detecting a potential shortcut through that mining tunnel ahead. It could save us significant time, but... The unspoken consequences hung heavy in the air. Jeb's response was immediate and firm. Not a chance. We stick to the designated route, no matter what. Hack nodded, equal parts relieved and anxious. As they approached the gaping maw of the approved mining tunnel, he couldn't help but wonder if their principles would cost them the race. The tunnel swallowed them, plunging the Broken Promise into near total darkness. Hack's instruments went haywire, the mineral-rich walls playing havoc with their sensors. I've lost telemetry, Hack cried out, panic edging into his voice. The tunnel's interfering with our nav systems. Stay calm, Jeb's steady voice cut through the darkness. Killian, give me manual flight controls. Hack, talk me through this. What do your eyes tell you? Hack forced himself to focus, peering intently at the faint shapes rushing past them. The tunnel. It's curving to the left. No, wait. There's a split coming up. We need to take the right fork. Jeb guided them through the fork with barely a meter to spare on either side. The next few minutes were a blur of snap decisions and heart-stopping near misses as they flew almost blind through the twisting tunnel. Finally, a pinprick of light appeared ahead, growing rapidly larger. With a final burst of speed, the Broken Promise shot out of the tunnel and back into the harsh sunlight of the desert planet. As Hack's systems came back online, his heart sank. "Captain, we've fallen behind. We're in 8th place." A tense silence fell over the bridge. They all knew what this meant. Their refusal to take shortcuts had cost them dearly. But Jeb's voice, when he spoke, was filled with unwavering resolve. "Then we'll just have to make up the difference the hard way. We've got the Great Dune Sea ahead of us, and I've got the best navigator in the galaxy. We're not out of this race yet." Hack felt a surge of pride at Jeb's words, mingled with a renewed determination. As the vast expanse of shifting dunes appeared on the horizon, he knew their greatest challenge was yet to come. The race was far from over, and the broken promise had a point to prove not just to their competitors or the watching universe, but to themselves. They would win this race with skill and integrity, or they wouldn't win at all. The broken promise crested the first dune of the Great Sea, and Hack's eyes widened at the sight before them. An endless ocean of sand stretched to the horizon, massive dunes rising and falling like waves frozen in time. But they weren't frozen even as Hack watched. He could see the landscape shifting, sculpted by howling winds that buffeted their ship. "Cosmic dust," Killian muttered. "How are we supposed to navigate this mess?" Hack's paws flew over his console, mind racing. "The dunes are constantly moving, Captain. Our pre-plotted course is already obsolete." Jeb's face was a mask of concentration. "Then we adapt. Hacked, I need real-time navigation. Every dune, every shift in the sand, I want to know about it." "Aye," Captain Hack squeaked, throwing himself into the task. His whiskers twitched frantically as he processed the flood of data, translating the ever-changing landscape into a series of course corrections. The broken promise dove into the dune sea, riding the contours of the sand with Jeb's expert touch. They weaved between towering dunes, some reaching heights that pushed the limits of their 2,000-foot ceiling. "We've got company," Killian growled. "2 ships closing fast on our port side." Hack glanced at his sensors. "They're taking a risky route, Captain. Riding the crest of that mega dune." Jeb's jaw tightened. "Stick to our course. We're not taking any unnecessary risks." As if to punctuate his words, a violent gust of wind caught one of the pursuing ships. It tumbled down the face of the dune, disappearing in a plume of sand. Hack felt his stomach lurch, knowing that millions across the galaxy had just witnessed the crash. The constant blink of the live feed indicator seemed to mock him, a reminder of the morbid entertainment they were providing. "Sandstorm approaching," Hack called out, his sensors screaming warnings. "It's a big one, Captain." "All hands, brace for impact," Jeb shouted. The storm hit them like a physical wall. Sand scoured the ship's hull, reducing visibility to 0. Alarms blared as systems began to fail under the onslaught. "I've lost visual," Jeb grunted, fighting the controls. "Hacked, talk to me." Hack's paws danced across his console, coaxing every bit of data from their straining sensors. 20 degrees starboard, Captain. There's a valley between 2 dunes. If we can get low enough, we might find some shelter." The broken promise dove, sand streaming past the view screen. Hack held his breath, knowing that if his calculations were off by even a fraction, they'd plow straight into a dune. With a bone-jarring thud, they hit the bottom of the valley. The howling of the storm diminished slightly as the massive dunes on either side provided some protection. "Good work," Hack Jeb said, his voice tight. "Now, how do we get out of here?" Before Hack could respond, movement on his sensor display caught his eye. "Captain, another ship, they're taking a shortcut over the top of the storm." The crew watched in tense silence as the blip representing the other ship rose above the 2,000-foot ceiling, clearly visible even through the swirling sand. "They're mad," Killian muttered. "The winds up there will tear them apart." As if in response to his words, the blip on Hack's screen began to wobble erratically. Then, with sickening suddenness, it plummeted. "They're going down," Hack cried out. "Captain, should we?" "We can't help them," Jeb cut him off, his voice heavy with regret. "Not in this storm, not without risking all our lives." The bridge fell silent, the only sound the howling of the wind and the soft ping of the live feed indicator. Hack felt a chill run down his spine, knowing that they had just witnessed and broadcast another crew's demise. As the storm began to subside, Jeb's voice cut through the gloom. "All right, people, we mourn the lost, but we keep moving. Hacked, plot us a course out of this valley. Killian, run a full system check. I want to know every scratch this storm's given us." Hack turned back to his console, paws shaking slightly as he input the calculations. The image of that ship falling from the sky played over and over in his mind. They had survived, yes, but at what cost? How many more would fall before this race was over? As the broken promise clawed its way out of the valley and back into the race, Hack caught sight of their next challenge on the horizon, the yawning mouth of a massive canyon. He swallowed hard, knowing that the most dangerous part of their journey was yet to come. The dune sea had tested their skill and resolve, but Hack had a sinking feeling that the canyon would test their very souls. The yawning maw of the canyon loomed before the broken promise, its sheer walls stretching up to meet their 2,000-foot ceiling. Hack's paws flew over his console, plotting their course through the treacherous terrain ahead. "Status report," Jeb called out, his voice tense but steady. "We're in 6th place," Captain Hack replied. "The leaders are just entering the canyon now." Killian growled from his station. "5 ships between us and victory. It's going to be a tight squeeze in there." Jeb nodded grimly. "Then we squeeze tighter. Hacked, I need your best navigation. Killian, be ready for anything. This is where it all comes down to the wire." As they plunged into the canyon, the real challenge became apparent. The passage twisted and turned like a serpent, with barely enough room for a single ship in places. Overhangs and jutting rocks threatened to snag them at every turn. Hack's mind raced as he fed Jeb a constant stream of directions. "Hard to port. No. Starboard now. Watch the overhang." The broken promise danced through the canyon, scraping past rock faces with centimeters to spare. Ahead, they could see the glow of engine exhausts as they slowly gained on the pack. Suddenly, Hack's console lit up with an alert. "Captain, I'm detecting a narrow side passage up ahead. It's not on the official route, but it could cut significant time off our run." A tense silence fell over the bridge. They all knew what taking that shortcut would mean. Jeb's response was immediate and firm. "Not a chance. We stick to the main route." As they passed the tempting side passage, Hack's sensors picked up movement. "Captain, the ship in 3rd place, they're taking the shortcut." They watched in horror as the other ship veered sharply, squeezing into the narrow passage, but what happened next shook Hack to his core. Just before entering the shortcut, the ship ejected one of its crew members. By the cosmic void, Killian breathed. They sacrificed one of their own for a shot at winning. Hack felt sick. He had known the stakes, known the consequences of the new rules, but to actually see it happen, it was beyond comprehension. Jeb's voice cut through the shocked silence, hard as steel. "Eyes front, people. We can't change what they've done, but we can damn well show them it wasn't worth it." With renewed determination, they pressed on. The canyon began to widen as they approached the final stretch, the finish line tantalizingly close on Hack's sensors. But the race wasn't over yet. As they rounded the final bend, they saw the shortcut taking ship burst from the side passage, now in a clear lead. "No," Hack whispered, despair washing over him. "After everything, they're going to win." Killian's growl was almost feral. Like hell they are. His paw hovered over the weapons console. "Cap, give me the word. One shot, and we end this." Jeb hesitated for a split second, years of ethical racing warring with the injustice before them. Then, with a sharp nod, he made his decision. "Do it." A burst of energy lanced out from the broken promise, catching the leading ship's engine. It sputtered and failed, sending the ship into a spin. With a final burst of speed, the broken promise shot past the failing vessel, crossing the finish line mere seconds before the rest of the pack. As the realization of their victory sank in, a strange silence fell over the bridge. They had won, yes, but the cost had been high. not just for them, but for all the racers who had fallen along the way. Hack's paws trembled as he shut down his navigation systems. The constant ping of the live feed indicator seemed deafening in the quiet. "We did it," he said softly, almost in disbelief. "We won." But at what cost? Jeb's hand came to rest on Hack's shoulder, a comforting weight. "We won on our terms, Hack. We didn't compromise who we are." That's a victory in itself. As the crew began to celebrate their hard-won triumph, Hack found himself drawn to a view screen showing the race recap. He watched as their journey was condensed into highlight reels, their every decision and close call broadcast for the entertainment of millions. The image of the ejected crew member played again, a stark reminder of the brutal reality of their situation. Hack felt a complex mix of emotions: pride in their own integrity, horror at what they had witnessed, and a gnawing uncertainty about what future races might bring. Jeb's voice cut through his musings. 4 down, 46 to go. It doesn't get easier from here, but we've proven that we can win without losing ourselves. That's something no one can take from us. As the broken promise made its way to the winner's circle, Hack realized that their journey was about more than just racing for freedom. It was about maintaining their humanity in a system designed to strip it away. And in that, at least, they were undefeated champions. The universe might be watching, but the crew of the Broken Promise would continue to show them what true victory looked like, not just crossing a finish line, but doing so with their principles intact. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.